Hey everybody, this is Justin with Pump Pal, and today we're going to be talking about how if you're not focusing on fiber in your diet, you're doing yourself an injustice. I'm going to go over kind of the benefits and how you can get more fiber in your diet, whether you're into general health or if you're into fitness. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe to this channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, please go ahead and give me a follow. Otherwise, we're going to get started. So, what are some of the benefits of fiber, right? Are you having trouble pooping? Do you seem to have to push really hard a lot of times? Chances are you are low on fiber. The answer is not to go and buy more laxatives to help you poop. Why are you having trouble pooping, right? I know it's a weird topic, but if you're having trouble pooping, what is the cause of the trouble pooping? You shouldn't have trouble pooping. Like, it's fiber. You're probably low on fiber. You need to eat more fiber. So that's the good news. If you found this video, congratulations, you found your problem while you're having trouble pooping. Instead of going to buy, say, laxatives from the fucking store, how about, at least the start is get the fiber supplement and get more fiber. Take the supplement pills. The other benefit of fiber is, especially if you're eating more fatty foods, is it's going to lower your LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol. This simply binds to these bad pieces of cholesterol when it's in your stomach and removes it from your body. Plus, lower your cholesterol, more fiber. And I'm sure you heard this from your doctor. If you have higher cholesterol, you might be working on it. It's going to be easier to maintain your weight if you have more fiber in your diet. Why is this? Your stomach's going to be full of those fibers, and you're going to have a fuller tummy. And the foods that you eat that have a lot of fiber in it tend to be more filling than the foods that you don't. Fiber controls your blood sugar. Once again, it slows the absorption. If you ever notice that, like pro bodybuilders or anyone lifting, they're always eating white rice, right? And everyone says this is a bad thing, blah blah blah. But you're forgetting that right next to it was a whole cup of broccoli, right? Broccoli has a crap ton of fiber. So if you're eating a lot of fiber, it's just like when it breaks it down, the carb, and breaks it into its form in your stomach. It turns into sugar, is what it does. All carbs do, right? But this slows down that absorption of the sugar, much like if you were in a low carb diet and slows it down. Maybe not as extreme as a low carb diet, but that's essentially what's going on. It's slowing that down, making that get absorbed so fast, and helps regulate that blood sugar, right? Reduces risk of multiple diseases. It's been proven: stroke, cardiovascular disease, and cancer, right? One you might not know about, which is like relatively new, I've been knowing about this for about like 6 years, 7 years, is your microbiome profile. Essentially what that is there's a lot of research is being done on this, is that your stomach has, I might even make a whole video on this later, but right now I'm just a brief overview of what the microbiome is. Your microbiome is your bacteria in your stomach's profile, right? And essentially it is when you eat fiber, the good bacteria, not the bad bacteria, feed off this fiber, and then they get bigger and they grow. They have little children, and they're growing. And these are living organisms that are in your stomach, and they're finding out that it affects so much more than just digestion. It affects your brain. It affects blood sugar regulation, all the stuff I already listed, but they're finding out it controls a lot more organs than people think, and it makes your brain function better. They're finding out that even autistic kids may have a microbiome profile that is bad, and they found out that chances are, if you have an autistic son, like I said, this is still research is still being done. I just remember it was interesting, and I read this article on this research, and essentially is like if you have an autistic kid. What could have been if you had a C-section, right? Because it didn't come up the vagina, right? They didn't get the mother's microbiome profile, right? So then they start life, and it's super sanitary workstations and stuff like that. So they never get bacteria into their stomach, and then they don't create this perfect microbiome profile in their stomach. And then that could possibly be the reason why they end up being autistic. They didn't get their mother's microbiome profile. Once again, it's research, and they're looking into it, but it's promising. They had taken the stool of a healthy kid, right, and they took the actual poop from his microbiome, right, a healthy microbiome, and then they actually transferred it into this autistic kid, and he actually started getting better. So there's solid evidence, or solid data, not conclusive yet, of that possibly being the reason why like the autistic rate is going up. People are not getting enough fiber, right? That's the importance of it. You need to get it. So I mean, if you have to get more fiber, how can you get more fiber? If you're just starting out, I mean, just get yourself a supplement at least. I personally don't like the supplements because that means it's a lot of fiber, and I do eat fibrous foods. So I personally don't supplement it, and I'm usually hitting my goal that I have to hit. But you could do, I don't know. Me personally, I'm an oatmeal guy. I usually do a bowl of oatmeal. I like berries; they taste good. Mixed berries. I'll fucking put the mixed berries in the morning within my oatmeal. I'll mix it up. Super amounts of fiber, super amounts of super amounts of a lot of nutrients from that. And it builds your microbiome profile from that one. But that's usually about, what is it? It comes out to, my breakfast comes out to about 14 grams of fiber. So it's a good jump start, 14 to 15 grams in the morning. And then you can snack, like instead of snacking on, something is not good, just a thing of beef jerky. Even if you want beef jerky, have the beef jerky, and then add it in, just broccoli with some cheese on top, right? Whatever you have to do to get you to like it, or whatever vegetable you like, or maybe you don't like vegetables. Find a fruit you like. There's so many different fruits. You can just go get the fruits. And these things don't add much to your, to your overall calories if you're trying to lose weight. Like, well, I just want the beef jerky because, I'm trying to lose weight, can have calories. I mean, literally, I think a cup of broccoli is like 30 calories. Just throw it in there. A lot of times what I'll do if I'm like, for me personally, I'll just have a fruit. Like I usually do oranges, apples, grapes, and it generally ups your fiber. And then I'll have like a protein shake with it at my one meal. And now we're at about 19 grams of fiber. Then I will have my lunch, whatever I have. If it's not fibrous, I personally like I'll make broccoli with some broccoli or cauliflower with some like a slice of cheese over the top to get a little bit more protein on it. I'll melt it and it makes it taste better. A bunch of salt and I eat it, right. And for me, I need more calories, so I usually use that and with the broccoli. But you don't have to do that. You can just put it in there. Sometimes to make mix it up. If I have a meal that's low in fiber, I'll make like roasted broccoli. I put it in the air fryer real quick, roast them, throw some salt on there with some vegetable oil, and I'll have that with it, and increases your fiber. Get inventive with it, right? And then I personally like to munch on. It tastes pretty good. Like when they go get the thing of mixed nuts from Walmart and try them. They're like salted mixed nuts. They're good. I mean, you may like them or not. Shit tons of fiber in it, right? Fiber and protein, and then you have that with it, and usually I have grapes with that. By this point, I'm like, I forget what the number I was at. Was like 20. I'll be at like 25, 30. And then you just repeat this, right? And then I'll have my next meal is usually the same thing I had for lunch. Once again, if it's not like a fibrous meal to begin with, I will then have, the broccoli with it, adding more, and then I'm at 35. And then whatever, usually it depends what the concoction I'm going to make. It's going to be I do like the light yogurt, and then I'll take once again the mixed nuts, throw a handful in there, and then mix it in, and then I hit my goal, 38 grams of fiber, right? Without supplements. If you don't not a big vegetable person, or you don't like vegetables and you don't like fruits, one, have you actually tried all of them to see if you like one? Two, have you made it the way you like it? If you don't like it, you can mix it in with food. Once again, if you're on a diet, you don't have to. They almost all the food sources you get with fiber in it are super low calorie, man. They're like nothing. Even if you have a whole orange, it's like 80 to 100 calories, right? I mean, it's not going to break the bank if you have an orange. You're going to be getting more fiber, and you're going to just be overall general health will be better, right? That's how you do it. You try to either add vegetables, supplement. You're going to try to up it though. I would say try to get it from foods. There's a lot of evidence to show only even supplements. Your body really is only going to absorb about 30% of them. It'll do 30% of whatever you eat or not. Whatever you supplement, your body will only absorb about 30% of whatever's in there to begin with. So you still want to try to get it from food somewhere, right? If you that's another one you can do too. I mean, if you're a carb person, you eat carbs, you can get a higher fiber version of those noodles, right? The whole grain noodles. Dude, you got to try some of those. I didn't think of this. You got to try some of those whole grain breads too. Like I don't ever buy white bread anymore. Some of those whole grain breads, man, they taste better than that white bread, and it's good, and it's actually thicker, more protein in it, more fiber in it. I personally think it tastes better, right? Swap those things out for the fibrous versions of them, and you're going to hit your goal. Once you start figuring out ways to get more in there, I think what was it? Men want 38 grams, women want 30 grams a day, or is it? Yeah, it's 38 grams, I think. Yeah, but yeah, that's your goal. My goal is usually 38 grams. I try to hit a day. Trying to even up that if I can, but 38 is pretty good. I mean, most people they're floating around like 10 tops a day. They're considerably under their fiber goal. Hopefully, this was helpful, and you can see the light of why fiber is so important. I'm sure if you have a cholesterol problem or weight problem, and you go to the doctor. I mean, you've heard it from your doctor before. He tells you to eat more fiber. There's multitudes of reasons now, and that microbiome profile is a very interesting subject. I've been following it for a few years, and there's just more and more evidence that this microbiome profile can do a lot for your body, and people just don't have it. All right, if after watching this was helpful, please like or comment fiber in the comments. Otherwise, I am going to call it a day, and you all have a good one. Thank you very much.